What up, y'all? If you're a fan of this show, C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide, then I'm your boy, OSGOE, one Sir Grove of EVT and England. Yes, sirree. And, man, humidity is low. Actually, you know what? That's not exactly, well, it's getting there, man. Sensor shows about 79, but that shit ain't accurate either. I believe it's a little warmer than that, but it is overcast largely. So any fucking who, man, send the Soul Stealer and one Sir Grove, that is moi, yours truly. We are about to launch a new fucking slew of tracks. Yeah, man. Rap, hip-hop, fucking music. And, man, we've definitely been putting our heads together and working on the shit. You're gonna be pleasantly fucking surprised if you are hip-hop rap fans. By the way, man, on some political shit, shout outs to one of the individuals, persons who left a comment on C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide, Adrian from Canada. We're gonna take a look at, Adrian's comment that he left here. Bear with me one moment so I can go ahead and research that, man. We got a lot of shit going on right now. Let's get to some fan mail. You just bear with one Sir Grover, Big Grove Dog, one momento, one minuto. Hold up, y'all. Let me see. I said, hold up, y'all. Let me see here. Let me see. Shouldn't be that fucking complicated. What am I looking at here? Man, I have like a zillion fucking apps. Alright, so here we go. We're in. We are in. Alright, so let me see. Man, how's everyone fucking doing while I look for this shit here, man? While I look for this here information, which I will have momentarily. I'm gonna have to wait, hold on. I know where to get it. But any fucking way, man, winding down the summer. I think people, what is this saying? New feature? Man, we're on a lot of networks now, man. Spotify, iHeartRadio. Man, hold up. Let me see. This says, oh, shit. Okay, they're talking about some new feature and shit. But let's get to the comment here. Just one moment. Bam! Right here. 27 August. So it says, comment made by Adrian on liberal Dems helping Donald Trump win again in 2020 is already a certain victory for conservative Republicans. Because that was the podcast episode, and again, the title of that was Liberal Dems Helping Donald Trump Win Again in 2020 is already a certain victory for conservative Republicans. Look, man, this podcast has skyrocketed. We have fan mail coming in. Adrian commented from Canada. He says the following. I'm sorry. Bear with me. Gender, I do not know, so I apologize for that. Just thought about it, and, he or she, sorry, man, like, not trying to be weird, but gotta keep it gender neutral at this point, and I'm just saying because I don't know. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, Adrian said, yo, one Sir Grove, big fan here in Canada. Love listening daily. Just wanted to say your EP on 9/11 a while ago got me started with you and got hooked from there. you are very close to what really happened. Just have to ask, have you ever checked out Rebecca Roth? Like to see another podcast on 9/11 and Rebecca Roth. Trump 2020, big thumb up. So yo, big shout out back to you, Adrian, in Canada. Thank you for the kind comment. So in terms of your question, let me see from memory banks what I have. Okay, nothing coming up right away, but that doesn't mean that my memory won't be joggled, because after 9/11, I ended up taking a job as a U.S. defense contractor because I had been working on my certifications leading up to 9/11, and then was able to obtain contracts subsequent, because I just quite frankly went fucking balls to the wall. And I told my friends from childhood, I said, yo, this attack on America is war. And we're from a traditional neighborhood community where my grandparents would have been married for 60 years. My grandmother never remarried after my grandfather passed away after World War II. So I was like, fuck it. I wasn't Gulf War I or II. Nah, man, this is my war, man. I'm about to take it to these motherfucking terrorists, and I'm going to do anything and everything that I can to get as far up the chain of command as I can and start influencing some of these war chiefs and these generals and these policymakers and these fucking lawmakers and these so-called officials in our government. So I came out here to the U.S. East Coast, worked at the Department of Justice, different agencies, continue my work to this day as a U.S. defense contractor. And I communicate with a lot of different officials and both U.S. and foreign allies. So we're doing our small little part in this here global war on terror. So let me go back. So you said Rebecca Roth, and this is in relation to 9/11 because, as you should, and I believe you do know, Colleen Rowley was my focal point. Let's see, it says here, 9/11 conspiracy fully uncovered. Rebecca Roth, author. All right, Wiki Spooks. Now let's check out Wiki. That was from a YouTuber. It looks like Future Money. 20 November 2015. So let's do this math together here. Let's check out what Wiki Spook says. Try to joggle my memory because, man, there's so much data in the fucking known universe, right? So let me see if I have seen. Okay, so Rebecca Roth. Give me one moment, man. I'm driving fucking close to 60 miles an hour here. Multitasking. I've got 3 computers here. Just give me one micro tick of one fucking tick of a moment here. All right. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking at here. So it also says WordPress.com, 9/11, Justice, Halifax, Rebecca Roth. Okay, so Halifax. So let's see, you said, so Canada. So I'm wondering if this is in relation to, it says, post about Rebecca Roth, exposed, written by Daniel J. Towsey, a truth soldier. Let's see what is stated there. It says, 9/11 Justice Halifax. All right, this will shock you to the core. Where is the information about... I don't want to waste y'all's time. It's trying to get me to accept some fucking cookies. Not going to be fucking doing that. You see find on page. All right. Rebekah. Rebecca. Correct. Roth. Okay. All right. Go. All right. So here it is. Tag archives. Quote, this will shock you to your core. 9/11 from Cheney to Mossad. Oh, that is the That is the Rebecca Roth Exposed. All right, so I'm clicking on that hyperlink there. And then it looks like, all right, so this was published, it says, on 11 September 2015. And I want for y'all to go and check out the same information that I'm taking a look at. I just want to paraphrase this and be able to summarize it for y'all here in a moment. So let me do this. Let me pause this and give me a moment to take a look at this information. All right, so I'll give you by the second information in terms of my analysis that I'm conducting right here, okay? So what I'm getting from this, and I just started to skim through and read line by line. I mean, I know that sounds kind of contradictory because I'm like, I'm skimming. As I skim, I'm also occasionally reading line by line. And what it looks like this author is saying here is that that Rebecca Roth's reputation in and of itself comes into question. Her, whoever she is in question at, is at the center of this information here, trying to identify who she is, why she would report such information, write and author such information, who she might actually be, because I saw some information here about a possible other name or nickname or alternative spelling or alternate name, alias, that is. And it also goes on to say that or suggest that she may be in some way, somehow, some way connected to the U.S. intelligence community and a deception operation regarding 9/11. So I'm reading into this. Give me a little bit more time here. Just going to pause one moment. So it goes on to say that she was a supposedly, allegedly, a flight attendant. So as a researcher analyst and someone who's been involved in forensic investigations myself, from this information, what comes to mind, man, what bears to mind are deep fakes and also human clone technology and the ability of our U.S. intelligence community to create individuals from basically, it's going to sound outrageous, basically nothingness. Now, you're probably like, what do you mean by that? Like, come on, Grove, like, you mean just like out of thin air? Not exactly, but kind of, sort of. So, Manchurian candidates, right? We all know who the Manchurian candidate, concept, what it means is what I mean. We're all as adults familiar with, I'm just, based on this information that I was presented, I'm just kind of, I'm just like, wow. So I'm really multitasking here. What I meant to say is, as adults, many of us are obviously familiar with the Manchurian candidate concept principle. Going beyond that, human cloning also plays a role in the theater of intelligence. I mean, let's face it. There are human clones. There are humans who have been cloned, and anyone who has studied the world of intelligence, tradecraft, defense, science, intelligence, look, man, we all know, those of us who have, that our government, shadow government that is, has technology that is eons, basically, because we're talking about an innumerable amount of time. Just, who knows, N as in November dash amount of time. We don't fucking know, like, how long this shit has been here. we know it's staged up. So, on other rocks, these same types of things can be and have most likely been played out. And we have evidence that they have been. So, hey, look, shit, there are doppelgangers, man. There are fucking others. And sometimes people think one person is one person. That person's been swapped out. Sometimes that person doesn't even know that that person is a swap out. Because that person's consciousness believes that it's always been that one single entity individual. Now, I know that sounds nuts to the average observer onlooker. But, again, those of us who know, we know. Our government, our real government, I'm not talking about the terrestrial government that's just learning how things work and figuring out how to move from rocket fuel, jet fuel, to anti-gravity, which it already has. It's been given some toys to play with. And it's utilizing, obviously, using anti-gravity. I'm saying in the context of the 20th century going into the 21st century. The terrestrial government, man. The one that's here to make it seem like these technologies are still on the horizon and are still being developed. You see, there are two different governments here. There's the terrestrial government that was seated here, put here, and grows here to give the illusion that all this shit is new, man. 3D fucking, printing technology and, anti-gravity, 0-point gravity. Oh, those things are being tested and experimented with, and we're figuring out more and more at these different research facilities and underground bases, and all these different technologies are hidden away in government warehouses. It's like, come on, dude, cut the fucking shit. All right, this shit is ancient. All these technologies predate current humans. So there's obviously an element of the shit being fucking staged up. The terrestrial government is also compartmentalized. So some of the government genuinely believes that the shit is still being fucking developed. Then you have those inside the government that are programmed to know a little bit more. That those technologies that DARPA's supposedly working on, they already exist. The only reason, man, organizations like DARPA exist is so that people believe that those technologies are being developed now. And then in industry, when industries seek to compete for those government contracts, like, oh, DARPA has a broad agency announcement and it's asking for someone in the world of America who is a qualifier, that is, meets the criteria of an American citizen, born and raised, or, with certain credentials. If you're a researcher, if you're a developer, if you're an engineer, if you're a PhD or master or have just academic credentials, maybe you're just a tinkerer. If you have knowledge of how to build things and you're able to build and create and invent and innovate for these ideas that we have, we'd love to fucking know, because we're DARPA and we're CIA In-Q-Tel and we're IARPA and we're DOD and we're all these different agencies looking for people that might be able to develop these technologies like Elon Musk is working on. The only reason those organizations within those agencies exist is to conduct surveillance to find out who is close to knowing the truth. Those technologies already exist, man. When you look at news media and you look at the different timelines of when this was invented, it's non-linear, man, and it's incongruous. I'll give you an example. I've known this forever, but I'll give you one very good prime example. So in terms of putting lasers on drones, right? I was blogging for the longest time because I broadcast and I'm very vocal and very outspoken, very sometimes controversial and outrageous, and I push the fucking envelope because I'm a government contractor. And I also believe in some level of disclosure. Not 100%. I believe that the average person, consumer, who may... Okay, look, some people... Okay, I'm not talking about... Listen. Not everyone can fucking know everything, man, is my point, okay? Yes, of course, Americans ought to know. But not everyone can know everything. You can't just walk up to some random fucking person on the streets, man. You could. And have knowledge of, like, the secret space program. I'm talking about deep knowledge, like having been off planet to, like, other worlds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because people who do those 20 and back programs, not only are their minds wiped, but they're also monitored. Listen, I'll give you an example. The doctor who was removing implants from people who have been abducted by aliens, right? We're gonna look this doctor up right here. I should know his name at this point. Doctor removes alien implants. He was the world's foremost doctor. It looks like Robert Krevin Lear. Roger Krevin, Krevin, as in November. That's his middle name, Krevin, and then last name Leir. Leir. L-E-I-R. It says 20 March 1935 to 14 March 2014. Was an American pediatric surgeon and ufologist, best known as an investigator of alleged alien implants. Well, they're not alleged. They're alien implants. I've seen the documentaries. And like I said, I should know his name. I know now. It's Roger. Hey, what do you know, man? Roger from Seth MacFarlane's American Dad. Alien, right? So this doctor, Roger, right? Watching his videos, I mean, it's obvious that these are implants from other worlds because they were sent, these implants and these different materials were sent to different universities and third-party investigatory bodies, organizations, that is, for analysis and identification and verification. And it was determined that these materials, many of them, were made, they're from some other periodic table. They're of unknown origin. These are materials of some other periodic table of unknown origin here on this planet Earth. So these materials were made off-world. And I'm talking about reputable, major motherfucking universities and research laboratories. Doctors, PhDs, MDs, medical doctors, you name it. Biologists, botanists, whatever. Astrophysicists, astrobiologists, they came out and they're like, yo, these materials were sent to this laboratory, this laboratory, this laboratory, this laboratory, this laboratory, this laboratory, that laboratory, and that laboratory. And conclusively, it is known, has been found, that these materials were not fucking made on Earth. And not only that, but they are, when we scanned them, that is, the spectrum around these materials, they are broadcasting information. I took notes, man, when I saw this shit. And those frequencies were of a deep space aeronautical nature. Deep fucking space aeronautical nature. These things, these implants were broadcasting far out into deep space. They could be picked up and received far out into deep space. So these aliens put these implants, these chips, these different devices, many different kinds, into humans, humanoids, and could pick up on these frequencies from deep fucking space. Talk about RFID chips, man. We're talking about small, tiny transmitters inside human bodies that aren't picked up by conventional scanning devices. And with the right scanning devices of a military grade, these different broadcasts, frequencies and different signals were detected. by these researchers, these PhDs, these doctors and these researchers. And what he goes on to say, man, is that the human body in and of itself is the best antenna. It's an ideal antenna. So the human body itself, if one is to think of humans as like human biological machines, the human body itself, acoustically, is an ideal antenna. So when adding to that, just augmenting the body, implementing, thus integrating different implants of these different types of materials, well, that helps boost the signal into deep space. So basically a supercomputer of an advanced origin, maybe some breakaway civilization, who knows? Third party, advanced alien civilization can track human movement just like data can be tracked in a computer. Humans can be monitored from deep space. Every single human can be tracked and monitored. And everything that the human does can be recorded. Look, man, I saw the one documentary about the dude. They pulled his eye out on its cord and he was awake. They gave him some drugs so that his heart wouldn't stop and his brain would function properly and his body would continue to function. And he was partially, he was coherent. And he asked, "Why are you doing this to me? Why would you do this to someone?" Because they said that they said that they wouldn't hurt him and that they were only trying to help and not to worry and that he would not be harmed. So at some point he remembers his eye being pulled out on its cord and he was like, why are you doing this? Why would you be doing this to me if you're trying to help me? Why would you pull my eye out of my eye socket on its cord? And they said, "Oh, because we want to put this," and they showed him this object that was approximately the size of a BB that you would, put in a BB gun, a little sphere. And they said, "We want to put this on the back of your eye because then it will help us better see what you're seeing. Eyes of your eyes." So think about it. There's an eye behind his eye watching what he's watching. Eyes of your eyes. You see? So I've just described technology that is known to exist. So knowing that technology exists, Rebecca Roth, I have no fucking idea who she is. According to what I just read, some believe that she's also this other person. And or she is completely entirely that other person. I don't know. Give me one moment. So I'm on a Wiki Spooks, and it says, quote, Kurt Haskell remarked upon the similarity between Rebecca Roth's voice and that of one Monica Gaynor. G is in golf, A, Alpha, I, India, N, November, O, Oscar, R, Romeo. Monica Gaynor, or Gaynor, I don't know how that's pronounced, who made a video selling health products. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to do some research. I genuinely have to say, Adrian, in all of my research, the Mandela effect's weird. Some people are not aware of it. Some people try to debunk it and say that it doesn't exist. What I know from my work in government as a U.S. intelligence contractor with the background in defense science, myself, I have spoken with people for decades who have agreed and concurred, and I'm talking about people who have worked in government extensively themselves as federal employees. I've been a U.S. intelligence contractor, so I know a lot of folks who have been and who are employees, and it's pretty well known, man, in the U.S. intelligence community, I believe largely, that our science has decoded long ago that this is a multi-synchronous, dual overlapping reality with other parallel universes. And that's why if you look at the work of Hugh Everett III. He found out about parallel universes. I mean, the ancients knew, obviously, about gateways and interdimensional travel and existence and overlapping dual synchronous realities. Hugh Everett III discovered independently through mathematics that they exist. And he ended up doing a lot of some of the most highly classified work for the U.S. intelligence community, U.S. government, up to the time of his passing. And he was conflicted by what he knew and what he had learned. So, in all honesty, man, in all of the research that I have conducted since 9/11, leading up to and after 9/11, I am really, truly surprised that I have not heard of Rebecca Ross. I do not believe that I have heard of this story until you brought it to my attention. Now, keep in mind, I'm a firm believer in the Mandela effect, and anyone who tries to debunk it is just not apparently consciously aware of the dual synchronous, multi-synchronous, that is, overlapping realities. Those of us who are aware of it, we know. It's not even a question. So this is new to me, just as C-3PO having a silver leg is new to me. Just as there not being any daylight savings time here. There's only daylight saving time. You might want to check out a show called Travelers. Spoiler alert, about human consciousness being transmitted from the future to the past, if you have not already. Travelers. Yeah, man, apparently this universe intersected with another universe recently. And so I've never heard of this woman, man. I do know that when I look at 9/11 and I see the planes crash into the towers, whether they were remote controlled or however it was induced or affected, I mean, carried out by way of like AI or some type of intelligently driven machine technology. I have heard where the woman, she says, they're not human. They're not human. I mean, listen, man, I work in sound and audio engineering and recording. I mean, I've listened to the telephone calls. I mean, that's what it sounds like she's saying to me. Other people seem to believe that. I mean, it pretty fucking much sounds like she says, they're not human. Something to that effect, man. And listen, when I see those planes crash into the towers, I can see some type of wave form. You know how they say it's controlled detonation, right? And there was the mysterious group that was in there and they had rented the floors. And I saw that with the depth chargers and all the different types of plastic that was being used within the infrastructure of the building. I've seen those documentaries and I believe that shit is real. But I also believe that in addition to controlled demolition, that there was some type of directed energy wave, because you can see a field of energy just slightly before impact. And no one has ever pointed that out to me. That's my own personal observation. I didn't derive that from a second source, someone else that had said that. I noticed that at some point, and I've brought it up for years. Like, there's clearly, like on a hot summer day, when you're looking at the concrete, the pavement, the blacktop, and you can see the waveform of the heat, the mirage, right? I mean, it's there, man. Like, I can see that waveform that's almost imperceptible, but it's there just before the plane impacts with the Twin Towers. It's like, yo, I mean, it's fucking clear as day. And it's not an effect of the film or the footage or any of these stories that these naysayers are... no one has even, like, questioned what I've said. I'm the one that's been saying that for years. I'm sure there are other people out there who have seen what I've seen. The point is, I believe two different things happened on 9/11. I believe that there's a universe where 9/11 did not happen, and I believe that there's a universe where it did. And I believe that there's a universe in between where it happened, but it didn't happen the way that it happened here. So you have these gradations, these variations, these intervals, these time slices. And that's why the footage was confiscated by CIA and agencies from the farmer, the rancher, whoever, the man on the ground that works in agrarian farmland society, and other observers, because they saw something totally different take place than what was reported on the news. And based on that information, none of 9/11 makes sense. And so CIA had to take that information, because if we saw the hard evidence, which some of us have seen, it clearly shows that 9/11 did not fucking happen. Period. So you have two competing, dual synchronous, multi-synchronous overlapping realities. I believe that they're both absolutely 100% fucking true. This Rebecca Roth, in the universe that I know, predating this C-3PO with the silver fucking leg and Niger being referred to as a country, because before it was always Niger, and nobody in the world of media broadcast ever in my lifetime since I was a child with the semi-photographic fucking memory, there was never any mention, any time, in any broadcast, anywhere, in any way, shape, or form referring to a country as Niger. And there was never daylight saving time. It's always and forever been daylight savings time. I've never heard of this Rebecca Roth until you brought her to my attention, whoever she actually is. And we're going to continue to do some research.